Federal Road Administration Track Safety Standards Compliance Manual, Chapter 3, Automated Track Inspection Program on ATIP, Geometry Car Operation. Track Geometry Inspection Car Operation. The chapter provides functional understanding of the automated track inspection program in terms of operation policy, on-track safety requirements, geometry measurement, technology, national deployment of the Federal Road Administration railbound inspection cars under the statutes mandated by Congress. The automated track inspection program car is conducted with the operational surveys of the United States Railway Transportation Networks and singular safety functions of determining railroad compliance with the Federal Track Safety Standards, or TSS. And since 1974, the operation of the Automatic Track Inspection Program CARES served an important role of the FRA overall compliance program. The FRA Office of Safety Management is the program for the logistics support and is provided with under the contract. All the FRA inspections assigned with the Automatic Track Inspection Program cars to ensure the applicable compliance with railroad operating rules, special instructions, specific FRA policies, procedure by everyone on the board of the Automatic Track Inspection Program. Geometry cars are operated. The 7 automated track inspection programs are identified by UNLR as listed in private equipment and publicly recognized by the .X X on the car body above the truck. The official .X series is 216, 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, and 223. The automated track inspection program of the .X CX is 217, 218, 219. Our self-propelled DOTX is 216, 220, 221, 223, requiring towing by locomotive, but all the cars may be operated in the tow mode if necessary. If the FRA policy defines the self-propelled automated track inspection program cars specified maintenance of equipment, or SME, the maintenance of reliable shunt track single circuit is reserved. All certain operation restrictions apply in PI policy. The automated track inspection program cars are not considered locomotives, even though they are cab and controls couplers operating of the specialized maintenance equipment or retrieve the automatic track inspection program contracts from maintaining locomotive engineering certification, hours of service regulation, and other requirements. As in special maintenance equipment, self-propelled automatic track inspection program cars are not subject to Title 49 CFR Federal Regulations Part 229, but amendable will enact in accordance with the Safety Appliance Section, other pertinent sections of a regulation. The automated track inspection program cars are operate safely in accordance with the railroad operating rules. The automated track inspection self-propelled geometry car movement of one of the rules exclusion opposing following absolute block protection must be maintained and superseded with the railroad operating rules equivalent protection given to a train or on-track equipment. Automotive track inspection program can offer advances such as crashworthiness protection, high-speed truck, satellite communication, assisted management, including innovations of the ride quality accelerometer, the measurement of the different global position systems, and from precise location of the track exemptions. FRA has developed a shared website accessible at atip.fra.gov to facilitate improvement of communications. The site contains several survey schedules and operational information. On track and on board safety. The automated track inspection program required to operate it safely in accordance with the railroad rules, federal regulation, the FRA policy. Safe automated track inspection program inspection survey is responsibility or everyone boarded with the FRA personal responsibility, authority, and enforcement control of the policy. Report an unsafe situation with the FRA regional or headquarters manager. The automated track inspection contract employees must conduct activities in accordance with special instructions conveyed with the safety manual of the FRA survey card. The federal track operating procedure inspectors in accordance with the survey director will provide the job briefing of the general geometry card system, safety apparatus, on-track protection, protective procedures whenever anyone comes aboard with leaving an automated track inspection program car files on the track. The on-track safety job briefing discusses at a minimum of the following. 1. General communication methods and procedures during communications, locating geometry, safety appurtenances, apparatuses, fire, English singer, first aid kit, breathing apparatus, identifying individuals aboard with the train, with CPR procedure for the egress through the specific doors and windows, applicable physical operating hazard procedure when file tracking. The FRA track and operation practice is reasonable with ensuring everyone on board the automatic track program is briefed and updated with the safety conditions of the event with the changes throughout the day before report existing cars in the following track occupied with the survey car on track safety established for utilizing the automatic track inspection program. Classify exclusive authority to move in the control track of the train. Coordination all trains movements coordinated with the survey director. When the automated track inspection program stops to evaluate the track condition, conducting and implement instrument checks and carry out repairs, the FRA track inspectors will ensure the following. 1. A railroad employee in charge of ensuring the appropriate on-track safety requirements of job briefing before following the track. The FRA track inspection railroad employee in charge of the automated track inspection program. Personnel are reminded with the train coordination as previously discussed. Coordination with the survey director and may afford the on-track protection by before following of any of the track of the protection, such as the train approach of the warning device, might be used. The railroad employing unavailable to assume the in-charge rule, the FRA track inspection may afford on-track safety in accordance with the FRA policy as follows. 2. FRA state inspectors may work together using a coordinated with the protection of the track occupied with the survey car non-controlled track on one acting as a watchman looking out for the other. If they now operating the characteristic of the railroad inspection points, including the train speed. The FRA and state inspector work alone and authorized to use the coordinated with the track occupied a survey car individual train detection non-controlled track. The individual inspector is responsible to obtain the information necessary to provide proper on-track safety. The FRA and on the railroad may invite guests on the ATIP car. However, the guest is not authorized to occupy the track with the permission protection afforded by either the FRA railroad or the term guest does not include the automated track inspection program contractual personnel who are agents of the government. Operations. The automatic track inspection program crew members usually consist of a survey director, 3 others who are responsible, including safety, operation of the calibration, maintenance for the instruments, and collection of survey data. The automatic track inspection program car surveys operation generating with the track geometry inspection or report or TGIR, including the video charts and imagery in the both hard copy and electronic format. A survey schedule is distributed regionally. The FRA track of the operational specialist review the schedule outline, provided the route of the feedback of the 4 months for the automated track inspection program using a regional acceptance. Schedule routes are applied monthly calendar format accessing on the automatic track inspection program atip.fra.gov. The contract requirements office of safety official notification letter operational plans distributed with the respective railroads applicable region for at least 3 months in advance with the survey. The with the legal letter details FRA authority operational geographic of the contact personnel other pertinent information. A daily automated track inspection program schedule identifies normal railroad crew changes points of the estimated travel in the automated tracking program car should achieve in a 12-hour day. Active survey contracted work days are average of 13 hours per day with a 1.5 hour consistent with pre and post survey work. Survey on a day that should not extend beyond 12 hours. However, it is understood that certain justifiable operating delays might occur with the variety of the causes of unforeseen railroad operation, automated track inspection program, car equipment failure, emergency occurrences. Condition that explains the reason for the excessive delays beyond 12 hours requiring the documentation by the contractor, concurrence with the track inspector, and pre-approval by the regional headquarters or managers and necessary and provided with the operational delays which result in going beyond the hours of the service because of subject decisions and reroute give priority for the other traffic must be well documented. Unreasonable delays occur with differential prior treatment. The railroad may be subject to the forfeiture, reimbursement costs, and fined under the law regulations. Occasionally, the automatic track inspection program schedule may be altered and corresponding with minor changes affecting the daily start and stop times or location of the distribution coordinated with the necessary schedule modification in respective railroads. FRA region with the way the earliest means the essential should be not substantial change of the final schedule 2 weeks prior to the survey unless the unforeseen circumstances occur. Last minute changes have an undesirable effect discussed to make an effect of the overall schedule of other regions of the railroad. Automatic track inspection program priorities risk and base route schedule preference is involved primarily the inspector observation regarding the deterioration, non-compliant track geometry associated with the structural conditions, cross-tie balances, etc. The railroad compliance history, exemption, or repeatability, degraduation rate, and track quality. Duration between the last inspection between 2 to 4 year cycles where the tonnage is more or less than 50 million gross tons, respectively. Passenger operation, the Amtrak applicable commuter freight territories such as the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority or SEPTA or Metropolitan Rail Corporation, Long Island's Northeastern Illinois Regional Commuter Railway, etc. Designated hazardous material strategic corridor railroad network route operating speeds greater than 20 miles an hour. Other special region needs for the activities of the 2002 Winter Games in Utah. General .X is assigned with the region of the Mississippi River. .X 219 is assigned to the region of the east of the river, and .X 220 is primarily designated for the survey passengers routes nationwide. Regions located in north latitude, the normal schedule and late spring of the early fall through the southern latitudes can be except automatic track inspection program car through the winter months. Automatic track inspection goals to survey to 100,000 miles of the track per year, provided with reliable track data. Alright, your automatic track survey project goes from the FRA Office of Safety for purpose of the outline surveys into a notification letter of the opera inspection in Interpol Railway 3 months in advance of the service, which goes to a contractor regional feedback of the preparing detailed railroad automatic track inspection program, which then either splits into back to the FRA Office of Safety for approval of final NLOP attachment 1 or into an assembly final lap approved draft. From the approved final lap in the FRA Office of Safety, it goes back to the contractor, and it also goes to a evaluated geometry car operations where the geometry car activated survey goes at the status to the contractor, which went through these two same yeses, is to approve is distributed, coordinated with approved modified survey as required. Perform inspection surveys generated with required reports. See attachment 8G, HI, and J. Performing system maintenance, which goes from the geometry car inactive status to an administrative archive data of the Federal Railway Office of Safety Administration. The Track Geometry System, or TGMS, the onboard automatic track inspection program, or track geometry measurement system instrument generates automatic signal process online on computer procedure with the geographical record of the detailed track geometry records. The measured recorded records. Measurement recorded are gauge, left-right rail alignment, profile, cross-level, super elevation, warm, harmonic rock, runoff, limiting speeds. Automatic track inspection program cars measure the record, existing track conditions, compare those measurements to ensure the compliance of the track safety standards of Title 49 CFR Part 213 Subpart C for the lower speeds of Class 1 through 5, as well as Subpart G Class 6 through 8 high speeds, determining compliance with the 1 runoff of 31 feet track gauge of the inches measured to the 5/8 of an inch below the top of the rail curvature, low length of spiral portion of the curved track of the rate of an elevation runoff or run-on cross level of the tangent inches cross level deviation from the uniformity of spirals and curved tracks and inches warps of using variable base of length of to 62 feet tangential spiral curved track and inches 31-foot section of the spiral track. Limiting speed of mile per hour and curves based on amount of super elevation, degree of the curvature, left and right hand profile, humps and dip, the deviation uniformity of 3161, 124 foot, mid-core offsets, class 136.3 and above in inches. Harmonic rock is created with the 6 pair of low port joints and each seed with a 1/4 inch left right in alignment with the deviation uniformity 3160 to 124 mid-core offset, class 6 and above in inches. Calculated unbalances amount in inches 12. Track geometry measurement system. Definitions: cross level, the difference with the height between opposing rails. Gauge, the defined distance between the rails measured on the right angle of the right on the rails of the 5/8 of an inch below the top of the rail. Super elevation and constant elevation on the outside of the rail car for the inner maintained on the curves, as well as the uniform rate of the change of spirals measured in the same manner as cross level. Warp, the rate of the change of the cross level arranged along with the track, and the difference with the cross level between the two main points in the tangent spiral and curve of the 62 feet apart of the less, and the difference of the cross level between the fixed level of the 11, 22, and 31 foot Um, Track geometry measurement system capable of determining the value of the twist in the same rate of the cross-level super elevation. Determine the profile is a cross-level relates to the transverse of the plane with the track elevation provides both retail relates to the evaluation along with the longitudinal axis of the adherence of the establishing grade with the incident of the dips and hips. Alignment of the protection of the track geometry, each of the track of the center lines of the horizontal plane. Curvature, both the tangent and the curve alignment. Track alignment is defining the deviation mid to offset of the 62-foot fork chord. Runoff of the evaluation ramp. The difference of the line along the on top of the rails is projection. Alright, exemption defect. The exemption detection process compares the geometry method data with the exemption of thresholds. Exemption data is detected with exemption detection provided with the type of the exemption, location, start exemption, and items exemption, PICA location, and the value of exemption. Some multiple channel video strip chart illustrated with the figure 3 on the top of the bottom continuously display the geometry values of the left and the right of the rail profile, run off to the left and the right, rear alignment, and the cross level of the curve of the super elevation degree curvature guide aids automated track event and location the detection references. When viewing the strip chart, the automatic track inspection card, the direction always the left hand of the margin toward the right hand of the margin. Representative lines drawn on the strip chart. The straight statements of the track of the quality dash line that represents the upper and lower guard limits. The exemption trace lines, differential non-compliant conditions may indicate operational maintenance, remedial action necessary. Electronic paper copy of the strip chart defects and provided with the demand of the non-compliance with the federal regulation received the immediate attention in and effective with the reduce of the paper. The consumption inspectors have reviewed the automatic track inspection program geometry information electronically with GeoEdit. The software that's Viva the CD-ROM available for the track data the management system automatic track inspection program website. The 8 channels are selectable in any according to the GeoEdit with the exemption of the line limits are shown on the left-hand read margin of the video strip chart no longer needs the scale to measure along with the readings because of the limited list exemptions are displayed on video trip chart. The profile channel combines the left and right profiles with the show off the runoff exemption limits are shown with the left-hand margin. The center line is equal to 0. The profile measures above the center line indicated with the dip. Profile measurements below the center line indicated with the hump. The alignment channel. The channel displays the left, right, and the rail alignment. Exemption line limits are shown with the left-hand margin on the tangent of the center line is equal to 0. The alignment exemptions above the center line are centered outward of the track center. The measurements below the center line are considered inward of the track center. The cross level channel combines the illustrated with cross level deviation warp or Rockoff heads for the super elevation exemption. The limits are shown with the left-hand margin. The line plotting on the top of the center line indicates the left rail is high rail, and plotting at the bottom of the center rail line indicates the rail is in right rail is higher as the high rail. The curvature channel displays 3 scales, which are 5, 10, and 20 degrees. Curvature exemption limits are shown with the left-hand margin. The cross-sectional curvatures are 5, 10, and 20 degrees, depending upon the physical layout of the track. Exemption trace lines plotted with the bottom of the center line, left-handed circle curves, and plotted on the top of the center line are right-handed with the view of the direction of the travel, such as left or right. The gauge of the channel displays the wide and narrow gauge exemption limits are shown with the left-hand margin. The nominal gauge 566.5 inch. Center line is 57 inches. The measurement of the above below the center line of the read directly either wide or narrow gauge respectively. The ALD channel is usually illustrated with the very bottom at each mail post marking the track of the number of the current class of the test provided with the report assisted locating track exemption, the curvature scale of the file number, the year, the month, and the day of the number, the format, and is posted within the right border. Location reference consistent with the event message number than clearly indicated with the mail post and other ways features such as railroad crossing. Bridges, trackside detection devices, e.g. hotbox clearance devices, are detected with the manual enters data stream. The contractor small, large vertical lines indicated with 100 or 1,000 foot track segment division requirements. Other features are marked automatically and charted with the LED ALD equipment sensitive with the present automatically turn out wayside detection devices. The allow the inspector host railroad representative easily locate the exemptions other along their analog and video chart references. at time occurrences. Video strip chart. Video strip chart outline becomes the header or that contains the following information: date, the railroad name, division, subdivision, line of the code segment, geometry car survey number, the movement of the authority track class, location from and to location to, post date, speed, mile, post start and end, and track type, the single, multiple, double, main, etc. Track direction, scan, rate, video number. The strip chart is contained with the printed output and the following information: wayside feature, left, right, profile, left alignment, right alignment, cross, super elevation, gauge, warp, and speed. The information is arranged in the pot of the measurement of the exemption of the wayside feature with the continuous line movement of the left and right measurement changes. The track geometry inspection report, or the GGIR. The track and geometry inspection report lists all the exemptions identified during the survey. The report header includes location, name of the events, including speed, class of the track, changes, the header, information exemption, starting location footage, ending location footage, length of the exemption, differential with the GPS location, maximum value, location, exemption limit, track, maximum train speed, posted class, timetable complying with the track speed, differential, one class more than one class drop, speed, the date corrected, all other outputs, initial measurement device, rail file corrugation, manual automatic entry, supply information required for the properly evaluated located with the track geometry exemption, therefore provisions incorporated to permit the data specialist to enter any other exemptions such as milepost, track class, the FRA track safety standards 1 through 8, track type of the passenger freight or both, track number, and the track wayside features. Number of channels. There are at least 8 channels displayed that can be selected. All stored data with the track geometry measurement system, the ride quality measurement system, RQMS. All appropriate scales of each other channel are marked on each of the chart. At a minimum, the following channels are displayed: left profile, left alignment, right profile, right alignment, super elevation, curvature, gauge, location, car body, lateral acceleration, car body, vertical acceleration, truck frame, lateral acceleration, truck vertical acceleration, track standard operation procedure. Testing speed verification, classification. The automated tracks for train inspection program cars always comply with the operational speed requirements. The FRA policy does not necessarily recognize all slow orders in terms of the track classification. Railroads place general order of the track bulletin variety of the justifying regional operational structural geometry, substituting maximum authorized train speed. Railroad also may elect to reduce the train speed to expedite the train of the automatic track inspection program car movement in advance of automatic track inspection program surveys, placing the temporary provisional slow orders, or TSOs, so-called blanket slow orders, over the long segments of track. The geometry data will be reprocessed with the maximum authorized train speed, but the FRA track inspector has the discretion and final authority to accept the temporary provisional slow order over the not valued observable general order and track bulletins. For example, a timetable authorized freight trains to operate at 40 miles an hour Class 3 classification. However, the valid and the verifiable track bulletin reduces the freight speed to 25 miles an hour Class 2 verification because of the cross condition. The result, the inspector allows the automatic track inspection program cars to inspect and record in compliance with the Class 2 safety limits. And another example, the one on the day of survey with the railroad issues the slow order reducing the train speed to 70 miles per hour. The Class 5 is the Class 60 miles. Class 4, the operational season with such of the anticipation of the multiple lower speed will be less distributive. To the dispatcher actual increase the incorporation with the automatic track inspection car program. Inspectors will inspect the lower classification operating speed with allow the automated track inspection program car to inspect the proper higher classification in accordance with the timetable speeds. Any automatic train inspection program location with the value of the discovered only with the edit with the inspector through the survey director with the track geometry and GGIR because of the precision, accuracy, repeatable, reproducibility or PAR, and certainly, however, the track inspections are only deleted with the track inspection, track geometry inspection requirements or inspection report. are not exclusively removed from the track geometry measurement standards. Thus, the exemptions are also available to subsequent reviews and analysis reprocessing. FRA's inspectors are not permitted to allow the automatic track inspection program track inspection testing of the higher class of the track maximum authorized post-operating speed contained with the current timetable without headquarter approval, and with the railroad requires the type of the track quality analysis. The request should be forwarded with the resource available request for the process and forwarded to the railroad. Clearance restriction. Prior to the survey, the FRA inspectors will coordinate with the survey director regarding the current track number, the current authorized operating train speeds, track chapters, and charters. The character input the information for the survey track geometry measurement system correctly plotted with the degree of the curvature on the video and strip chart. The FRA inspectors will advise the survey director in advance where the curvature varies often differ through those established on the train chart with the groups 5 through 9 to 15 degrees. Automated track inspection program. The geometry chart with the Association of American Railroad interchange rules. However, the curvature greater than 13 degrees presents clearance issues may govern the restriction car operation when towed by a locomotive. The self-propelled cars and low towed operation cars are curved the grooves of greater than 20 degrees is prohibited. Clearance diagrams restrictions of all of the automatic track inspection programs provided with the ATIP website. Use of additional locomotive self-propelled automatic track inspection program. Geometry cars operate independently, however, they may not towing so occasionally. The FRA inspectors in agreement with the survey director are authorized to request the tow locomotive and crew and one more of the following occur. The propulsion system other than the brake capabilities fail to operate properly. To the railroad operating rules require an onboard automatic cab signal, automatic train stop, automatic train control system. Consequently, the automatic track inspection program geometry car does not have these features, must be towed with the railroad owned by an equipment locomotive in accordance with the railroad signal rules of the maximum authorized track speed. In all other cases, the FRA headquarters will authorize most of the notified advance lease of the locomotive using essential railroad crew members' reimbursement of the cost service of the railroad. Track designation. The purpose of the automatic track inspection program surveys the track geometry inspection report designate the track 1 through 4 standard notation double and multiple control track configuration unless otherwise numbered with the railroad alphanumerically ABCD 1 2 3 4 format. For example, the track must be designated with the yard lane not 1045. The single main track is designated with the track 5 control siding with the designated track 6 and 7 notations represent all other main non-controlled tracks including accepted track. Operational delays and surveys beyond 12 hours. The FRA inspection reports the excessive delay greater than 1/2 hour cumulative delays reporting the exceeding of the hours of the service law. For example, the hours of service time begins when the automatic track inspection conducts the brake test. Inspectors will ensure the survey director reports recurring to prolonged operational repair delays, determining the reason for the delays and end operating constraints that are in place in the railroad. Dispatching the crew delays the personal hours of the service restrictions. Inspectors should notify the regional headquarters managers if the unusual occurrence significantly affects the automatic track inspection program delay schedules. Using the onboard telephone to communicate railroad officials to expedite the movement and advise the regional headquarters managers is authorized. Although normal survey hours expected to conduct during the daylight operations may require surveying before sunrise and after sundown. Inspectors should always address in safety and concern with the safety briefing. Personal onboard automatic track inspection program must know the individual limit of the physical fatigue beyond the 12 hours on duty time. Anytime the unsafe circumstance exists that does not conform with the railroad automatic track inspection program procedures inspections, the situation will be immediately resolved and reported with the FRA regional or headquarters managers. Regardless of the day and night, the track geometry measurement system will always record the track condition, proceed with the track geometry and inspection report, unless for the track geometry measurement system equipment malfunction as specified below. Measurement equipment malfunction and calibration with survey director and inspector will monitor strip chart exemption, verify the all channels with the scale and reading properly. Inspector will convey information reading of the maintenance of the representatives examining the completely understanding the data represented. Single failure combination exhibit the questionable value information exemption of the justification to stop the survey from the location of the even until the unit is repaired until the survey is continued until the conditions are resolved. If the report cannot be made with the geometry measurement of the system, the automatic track inspection programs are not continued. The track segment affected but declared as invalid survey. The track safety segment identified as invalid will be rescheduled with the automatic track inspection at a later date. Certain conditions are known to produce small variations measured with the track geometry during the automated survey. The differences after the effects of the geometry measurement are mainly caused by the track geometry measurement system calibration tolerance. 2. Transition is applied to the track loaded between surveyed run dates caused by the speed, acceleration, weather conditions, difference of the 1-foot data to the sample location, change in the track position caused by prevailing rail track, rail temperature variation, physical condition, rail wheel and condition, certain type of guardian certain type of guardrails, flangeway obstruction, the railway spowing the system specific rail sections or head-free rail special track work when they may affect the 5/8 of one of the gauge side of the railway measured automatically extreme. The vertical head wear loss the greater than 40% of present problem associated with the proper measurement. The rail condition influences the accuracy of the track geometry measurement system identified with the track geometry inspection report under internal national organization standards. These ISO certification conditions are minimized and control sufficient length. The typical type of the rail condition may warrant adjusting the jade sensor of the survey of the director, but they adjust may be authorized by the FRA headquarters. When significant amount of the headwear loss is prevented by the FRA inspector to provide to discuss the rail condition when the railroad headwear loss of values can be valued with the rail profile system and geo-edited. Valid surveys. The automatic track inspection card inspected with produced the track geometry inspection report, all applicable to mainline track side, control sidings and other main track where scheduled warranted opportunities practicable. For example, the occupying the main track directed with the occupying of the siding to meet another train would be the present inspecting opportunity on the siding track. Unplanned inspection of the main yard include the expected track designation discretion. However, the car must be taken to prevent the possibility of automatic track inspection program to car damage or from various sources. Producing the track geometry inspection report mandatory for the valid survey will not produce the invalid survey of certain track segments thereof. The ISO quality reason for the automatic track inspection cars records the geometry data when removing the certain speed of the exempting the conditions existing with the cause damage is designated with the FRA headquartered anywhere with the automatic track inspection cars that operated with the track geometry measurement system instrument on board will be recorded an applicable track geometry measurement and authorized with valid survey operation occurs with the condition that follow the prerequisites and are in place. 1. The railroad officially notified the FRA in writing. 2. The qualified railroad locomotive engineer and pilot is on board with the self-propelled air towed. 3. Both contractor and crew members of the FRA inspectors are on board. 4. The authorized track speed is greater than 5 miles an hour. 5. The track geometry measurement system is online and functional and can produce the track geometry inspection report. An unauthorized invalid survey segment, thereof operating the declared in the following circumstances: the track geometry measurement system failure, resulting in instrument inaccuracy, track geometry measurement system instrument impairment due to the snow vegetation, high ballast levels, excessive debris, mud and grease line, oil, causal factors. 3. The geometry car, the deadheading in the train, the track geometry system is offline. The preparing the PAR testing and undergoing the scheduled and the unscheduled maintenance. Producing the track geometry inspection report mandatory for all the valid services. The track geometry inspection report will be noticed and provided with the produced with an invalid survey. The valid track geometry inspection reports are produced. They will be provided with the host of the railroad, the inspector. Only those locations where the certain track measurements will be deemed to be invalid. The inspector will not provide with the geometry data to the host railroad. Alright, geometry car exemption level. Discovered the exemption of the automatic track inspection program cars that categorized in 3 noncompliance levels. First level of noncompliance, second level of serious noncompliance, third level unsafe noncompliance. For example, the track is tested at operating speed for the class 4, but only complies with the class 3 defined with the first noncompliant condition. 1 class drop down. A track is tested with the operating class of 4, but only complies with class 2 is less than defined with the second level of the serious condition. And track class drops to 2 class drops to more or more. A track, regardless of classification, that does not comply with the safety standards does not at least comply with the Class 1 track that is defined in the third level unsafe without the intermediate and the proper remedial action. Unsafe track condition is unlikely and will result in derailment. Exemption of location. There are 2 basic methods for location exemption in the track and geometry inspection. Downloaded or enter the GPS data, latitude and longitude into the handheld GPS device such as the digital tracking notebook. Following the general practice and GPS direction and their exemption, the GPS exemption coordinates with the list of the track geometry inspection report. Geometry car exemption of the paint marking the series and removed no longer the sprays and the cross ties. Inspectors using oscillographic strip charts with the track geometry inspection report find the truck number the founded with the milepost reference located with the exemption using strip chart information. Also the reference of other geographical features and turnouts, grade crossing curves, and etc. Sometimes detection problems encountered with the region for the area's manual entry with the automatic track inspection program missing milepost short miles, which means the railroad may not measure exactly 5,280 feet in length. The rule exemption distance is referenced in directly travel regardless of increasing and decreasing milestones of the track geometry measurement system. Number of feet in the last 100 miles posted. And according to the track geometry inspection report, the mileposts are increasing by 9, 10, 11, etc. The footage of the milepost is added with directly in adding exemption located with the milepost at the 10 and 1,548 feet would be interpreted as 1,584 feet from the milepost 10, decimal point of the 10.30 direct travel. If the milepost decreased in 11.10.9, the footage of reported milestone is subtracted from the milepost. For example, located with the 10, 1,032 feet from the specific between the 10 and 9 mileposts would be interpreted as 1,302 feet from the milepost 10 located in the milepost 9, 3,962 feet. Decimal point at 9.75, the opposite direction. Appendix C of the conversion feet of the decimal is available on board at the end of the chapter in the assist inspection, depending on the geometry card and delay reaction time, transit distance of the 400 feet existing regarding exemptions. Geometry exemptions associated with lengthening general warp and harmonic rock measured with the exemption reference in the direction traveled. For example, the warp length of 56 feet is the length of the milepost of 9,396 feet. Upon the computer calculation, the other end of the warp is located with the milestone 6,994 feet, the 56 feet from the exemption reference point, but in the opposite direction of the travel. The DTN or other GPS receiver accuracy is usually within 30 feet of the exemption located with the tag geometry card, the GPS conditions. Alright, I got a couple more pages. That's exemption verification automatic tracking inspection program. Or track geometry measurement system instrument algorithms, solid standard operation procedures are certified by the ISO 17025 standards, meets the quality procedures set by those standards by the automatic track inspection programs as part of the ISO A2LA certification. Instrument verifications are made with a minimum of 3 times per day. Strip charts of continuous monitoring to ensure the track geometry measurement system is not out of allowance of tolerance. Track gauge conditions deemed unsafe with excess of the 58.5 inches must be valid and verified. The FRA inspectors must stop the automatic track inspection with encountering the unsafe level of the condition, verifying the geometry carbon measurements. All other verifications will be set in sole discretion. The inspector automatic track inspection conducts specialized random quality insurance field validations. Railroad may question the accuracy of reported exemption. In those cases, the FRA inspector may stop the car and has substantially exemption conducting with the additional instrument verification direct track of the measurements along with the activity and supervised under the proper track procedure. If the track structure operational kind of circumstance warranted, the inspector may assess and consider the violation citation in accordance with Chapter 4. The automatic track inspection program service satisfies the Title 49 CFR 213.13 requirements to measure the track underloaded. Automatic track inspection normally applied with lateral vertical dynamic load and correspondingly with the track geometry measurement system. Calculate the geometry compliance with the speed and the impact of the factors determining the level of the railroad of the movement underloaded. Measurement underloaded must always be considered when the exemptions are narrow gauge and they guard faith at checkpoints. Car wheels enforcing the narrow gauge of the guard shades of the face gauge of the condition outward of the measurement appropriate under the Title 49 CFR 213.13. It is important that the inspection to verify the reinspection of the geometry of the measurements following the automatic track inspection program survey seeing source code J. Inspectors should be confidently geometry measurements are correct and accurate, that they should remove the disapprove of any contentions of measuring that they aren't accurate. Also, keep in mind the statistic measurements are also never exactly equal to the dynamic 100,000 car measurements. Exemption remediation. Providing with the ISO quality standards meeting, the inspectors will recognize exemptions discovered with the automatic track inspection program and abiding with the FRA constructive knowledge of standards in accordance with the Title 49 CFR 213.5. Responsibility for the FRA policy. The railroad responsibility to decide remedial action is not given by the automatic track inspection program survey. Starting with their track does not comply with the safety standards requirements, probably exemption remedial action must be taken at the time the discovered railroad representatives. The inspectors may not impose the remedial action and route exemption to stop verifying validity of the response to railroad remedial action. Inspectors may also consider citing the violation with conducting an on-ground inspection of the unsafe condition of the source J. After automatic track inspection program inspections determine the appropriate remedial action have been taken. The sole discretion of the inspector. Proper source codes are located in the section of the reports prior to the knowledge was met with the railroad. With given in the track geometry inspection report, enforcement should be considered when remedial action has not been taken. Reverse movement to accomplish the on the ground track exemption verification or other purpose of the automatic track inspection program. The reverse direction will be conducted in accordance with the railroad operating rules. Pilots will position themselves to oversee the reverse movement and communicate with the car operator in accordance with the railroad operating only on the dot X217 and 218 with the dual control. Also, at each end, reverse movements are limited to operation through an interlocking operation, multiple highway, railway crossing, and operation of significant distance, usually 2 miles or more. Speed limitations and curve. The Vmax, formally considered with the average variable of the actual elevation curvature, the amount of the unbalanced evaluation device in determining the maximum curving speed allowed. Curving force becomes the critical variation of the track and equipment. The characteristic and proper handling conditions have not been debated. The FRA inspector determined the compliance with the track surface standards of Title 49 CFR 213.63, alignment standards of Title 49 CFR 213.55, which some cases must be as restrictive than Vmax rule. For example, the most single point alignment of the deviation measures 1/7/8 of an inch on the Class 3 tracks may issue the greater speed restriction of the Vmax rule. Under the Vmax rule, the maximum speed of the curve is determined by the average both of the curve alignment, cross-levering measurement of 20 points, establishing 11 stations, 5 on either side of the point of the collision, and 15.5-foot spacing. A curved elevation amount of the curved feature curvature of 155-foot track segment is calculated with the geometry car producing a limited speed of the Vmax formula. Curve speed calculated by the automatic track inspection program car is strictly enforced. For instance, the calculated speed of the curve is 46 miles an hour. The speed above the car, 46 miles an hour, are not compliant with the restraint. Reasoning for the strict interpretation allowance of the averaging of the elevation curve versus the most restricted point of the point method embodied with the curve of the average of both the alignment of the cross-level measurements of 155 track segments regulatory requirement following formula calculation necessary to know the maximum authorized speed of the average approach and recognized with the steady state and purpose of the formula. And the length of the body of the curve is less than 155 feet. Measurement should be taken with the full length of the curved body of the transition location, point to point, and addressed with the alignment of the track surface tables and departs with the presenting average measurement and technique. The difference between track angle and the car angle is called the roll angle. The less the roll angle, the better the comfort and safety obtained with the going around the curve. Along with 4 inches of the device deficiencies usually apply for the passenger train to other types. The car equipment, comparable suspension system, center of gravity, and cross-sectional series may be performed equally well. Inspectors should be familiar with different types of railway equipment operating other than inspected assigned territory. Inspectors may use equation 1 to solve the unbalance. UB versus EA. Unbalance equals average elevation minus velocity squared equal the average degree of the curvature. The automatic track inspection program indicates maximum allowance speed of the track geometry inspection report record. Listing condition exemption. Inspectors will not usually consider the recommendation violation calculated operating speed marginal differences than 1 1/3 unbalanced rule. They unproved the unbalance of the location minimal super elevation calls produces more than 3 inches but less than 4 inches of unbalance. The track geometry inspection report record lists as an exemption of the correction. No other violations are usually recommended. For example, the 3-inch unbalanced exemption would include values of evaluation of elevation of 4 1/8 of an inch, curvature of 2 degrees and through 2.34 degrees. Designation of the train speed at 50 miles an hour. The calculation valuation of unbalance is equal to 4.8 minus 50 times 50 times 2.3 quarters divided by 1,430 is equal to 3.58 inches, or 21% more than less than 33%. 3 inches is allowed. Inspectors' knowledge is important regarding the various types of freight, and especially their operating passenger equipment associated with unbalanced levels are authorized with their respective region, but the FRA has improved the certain equipment of the type of the curving speed producing more than 4 inches unbalanced specific location conforming the operating speed of the curve that is created with the 33% over the 1/38 of an inch more unbalanced. If the railroad has not initiated the remedial action, inspector will consider the recommendation civil penalty. For example, a 4-inch unbalanced violation would be include the values of the elevation include 2 inches of the curvature of the degree, the designated train speed, and the calculation of the values of the unbalance versus the 2 minus 2 times 60 times 60 times 3.125 divided by 134,330 equals 5/7/8 of an inch, which is 1/7/8 of an inch, or 47% more of 4 inches of unbalance allowed. Geometry car security. The track inspector is responsible for proper security of the automatic track inspection program. Car must be used with good judgment, discretion, applicability, placement of the protective device of the train control signs, red or blue flags, and other circumstances to prevent undesired access to the geometry car unoccupied. The FRA will ensure the contractor proper personnel always provided with a prior protective measurement. The FRA will notify the regional headquarters of safety and condition with existing, but do not allow the protective devices to be applied. Highway rail grade crossing is all occupants controlling compartment of the geometry car with responsibility ensuring the way of the car with approaching a highway rail grade crossing equipped with either the passive automatic warning signal devices detailed below. 1. The rate of deceleration self-propelled geometry car must be controlled to speed deemed appropriate based on the local condition, gradient visibility, individual rail surface, top and condition appropriate of the highway grade crossing, reducing speed of the proper to speed necessary until the known with the automatic warning device actuate. If the signal feature disrupts the proper function of the warning device, the occupation must be able to respond importantly. The railroad represents the report's warning system malfunction dispatcher in accordance with the Title 49 CFR Part 234. The track precautions do not interfere with the normal function of the automatic warning signal system device's exemption is in condition with the proper flagging protection against the highway vehicles provided with the railroad. Contracting personnel will automatically warn the device and fail to fully activate when the host of the railroad were and requiring exemption Part 4 of the FRA manual of the Uniform Traffic Control Devices provision of the FRA regulations. Alright, reports. Document and data control. To ensure the automatic track inspection program reports are delivered to those persons the FRA authorizes, the survey director only delivers the track geometry inspection reports to the FRA inspector track inspector. The reasonable for the FRA track inspector authorized distribution, sufficiency, quantity of reports, paper and electronic to the railroad representative on board. Additionally, survey directors enter the survey log on the name of the contract information number and the reports of the railroad representative received the survey log and is retained and kept on the file with the daily survey documentation. The FRA track inspection report. Inspectors prepare the FRA track inspection report or Form 96 to each automatic track inspection program, which survey the appropriate source code, the service number, the type, aptitude to the manual instruction preparing the Form 96. Inspection surveys involve the multiple reports. The given day, the inspector completes the multiple 96 report forms and aligns them among themselves. Different railroad survey during the day and the re-inspection activity to avoid duplication or distorting the FRA database. Only the 196 report will be completed to form for each survey segment of the railroad. Even more than one inspector may be aboard. Alright, source code I, automatic track inspection, active and inactive surveys. The source code I will report the railroad following the Office of Safety assigned with the automatic track inspection with a file number, and will be used to inspect the conjunction with the automatic track inspection activity survey with the report of the number 6 report forming to be filed without during the inspection activity and the exemption listed by the geometry card to be appended with the record of the 96 report for the fire line items that enter all the units inspection activity code box. Ensure the survey of the miles accurately correspond verified by the survey director. The daily number of the miles operated with the geometry card while conducting the inactive service using the service code 1 and listing only the mileage and operated with the geometry car. J. A automatic track inspection program follow-up reinspection. The automatic track inspection number corresponding with the original survey file number of the alphanumeric and is signed with the Office of Safety file. The inspection should be conducted within 30 days. Also, the automatic track inspection program is stopped for the verification during any active survey. The non-compliance conditions decided with the inspector must initiate the source code J reports and separate the source code I reported mentioned above. When the condition of the automatic track inspection file is the inspection source code J, if the track exemption for the reported with the geometry discovered in and another 96 report form with the appropriate source code must be completed. Do not combine the automatic track inspection exemptions with other exemptions of 1 through 96 report form. And the automatic track source code N, automatic track inspection of STRACnet. Track Railway Coordinator Network is a network of military routes important to the national defense. Paper and electronic state maps are available to help identify these important rules. And now we're on to the appendix, and I'm sorry I'm not going to read the appendix, but Chapter 4.